Okay, here we go. So this is where I do all my grinding and sharpening, and boink, light for highlighting, because you can't see down in there to use this old Craftsman drill bit sharpener without a little extra light, and turn that off because it's messing with me. This was welded at a festival I just attended. The base, this tool rest was built on before this part actually broke. This was gas tungsten arc welding, TIG welding, that was used to in the woods by a pirate. So I can brag and say this was welded by a pirate, which puts me in a good mood. This was I don't know, I don't remember where. I think it was some fancy sharpening system I got this idea from, and this was I wanted an adjustable tool rest. It's kind of dirty right now, it's hard to tell, but it works pretty okay. And there's the generator that runs the whole shop when I'm being remote. There's the welding machine, and these things don't let me down. And the nice thing about the auto set, it's kind of not intuitive, but it's engineered to run. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. It's engineered to run on 120 and 230 volt, which is ideal for a generator. And this one is an inverter TIG welder, Dynasty 200 DX, and it runs pretty good on the generator, like pretty darn consistently on the generator, as long as I don't push it much past 160 amps. It's only what, 7,800 watts or something like that, 6,800 watts. Cheap Chinese vise that I've had for a really long time. I got it for $10 at a garage sale. Good mechanics vise. And this is over in my grinding area. So I like to keep all the grinding dust over isolated on one half of my workbench, and then some stuff, more tools. I'll turn this off again so the tools show up real good. Lots of hammers because I love hammers. And some artwork that came from a friend. Some more indicators, and that's where I keep all my drill bits and stuff, is back in there. This is a 1941 Wilton bullet vise. The stamp says 1946, and that would denote the end of a 5-year warranty. When I pulled it apart, I discovered that. Lots of stuff going on in here. The mill, Central Machinery, was purchased from Harbor Freight, delivered for under $1,000, although I have quite a bit more than that into it by now. 3-axis digital readout, which is up there. More tools. I use the ER40 collet system on both machines when I don't have that chuck in it. And I've been working some oil cans, another dial indicator. That one's accurate to the thousandth. And there's the ER40 collet, and there's the actual collet for it. That's the collet body. And there's the collet. And it works. Everything works. I've been working on these handles for files, of all things, because I'm not a machinist. I just kind of, I'm a mechanic who loves being a machinist. I needed a handle to sharpen my chainsaw blade, which is up there. And these files are really tiny and small, and I originally just built this little section, and then ended up adding this wooden chunk later to keep from coming in. Like when I'm filing, I need to be able to file in a straight line, and with that little one I could only file at an arc, a slight angle, and that didn't work for me. So I just built that. This is probably the worst tool holder imaginable. I get a lot of motion from it. It's not so good. It's a QCTP, Chinese aluminum tool holder. And there's the tooling for it. And then we have down here just tons and tons and tons of filling. There's the change gears for it, which are kind of cool. Never used them, but it's kind of cool. More stuff, my calipers and angles, and there's so much stuff in here. It would be 1, 2, 3 blocks. It would be very difficult to give you a full tour. This was really difficult to find, mostly because I don't know a thing about finding machine tools. And lots of Allen keys, and some other stuff, high-speed steel bits and keys and set screws, and there's just so much stuff in here. It would be really difficult to be able to give you a full tour. And this I tried to sell forever and a day, and everybody kept trying to say, well, it's only worth, you know, 30 or 40 bucks or whatever they were saying, and I was like, yeah, well, I value my time a little more than that. Kind of a neat thing. The quick release didn't come with it, so I ended up making my own screw for it, which was fun, and the handle, of course, just an afterthought. So it's kind of a, and this I wanted to cover. The Portaband, and this was just built out of scrap from the shop, which is held on. This arm articulates, which is kind of, I think it's neat, kind of a neat thing. So this whole kit and caboodle swings all the way out. That vise can let this go, and this is set up on a trailer hitch to be able to be received by this type of doohickey 2-inch receiver. So it can be mounted outside the back of the truck, or right there, or clamped into a vise in any of the vices around the shop. It's just kind of a neat thing. And there's my spray paint. The extension cords really didn't have a home, like traditionally ever since I built the first version of this shop. So this time around, cause it's a full cage in here. So this I-beam and the whole cage, both sides of this, even underneath, are attached all the way around, 360 degrees. So there's no movement in the cage whatsoever. It's quite stiff, which is kind of a neat thing, in my opinion. So anyway, and there's my computer. Whoa, fancy computer! And hopefully the Davinci Resolve video editing software that I just hooked up works real good. Anyway, switching cameras. Let's see if I can get this worked out. That's about as good as it's going to get. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell, because that's the word on the street. I should remind people to do that.